I miss you guys. I hope everybody's staying well. I thought today we could do a chakra class. It'll be similar to our other yoga. I'll just talk about the chakras and we'll talk about them during our practice. So get comfortable, find a nice dim spot to practice, maybe light a candle or diffuse some oil or anything that just makes you comfortable. And we'll go ahead and begin. So if you want to pause me to get your space ready, go ahead and you can push play again when you're ready. If you already have it ready, then that's great. Okay, so I was going to start by talking about the chakras. They can also be known as nerve centers because they're bundles of nerves in your body. And so there's 7 of them, and they're the color of the rainbow. So you start with your root chakra, which it's here. It's a bundle of nerves, and it has to do with like grounding, and so they're the color of the rainbow, like Roy G. Biv. So red is this one, and then you've got under your belly button is the yellow one. Right here in your rib cage is the orange one. So there's little bundles of nerves in each of these spots. And you've got your heart one, which is the 4th. The 5th is in your throat, and that one is, so it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo right here on your brow, and violet, the crown chakra. So that's all 7 of them. They actually have names. But anyways, they have to do with different things. So this one is grounding, and it also has to do with like your basic needs, survival. The orange one here under your navel is has to do with moving, but it also has to do with pleasures, like starting to do things like eating good food or feeling pleasure and stuff. Okay, and then you've got yellow right here. It's a solar plexus. This one deals with like inside, like digestion issues and things like that if it's not good. Then you've got your heart one, which is loving. And then this one is expressing, the blue throat one. So oftentimes we have our head down typing, and so throat opening poses or rolling our neck can be good for that one. And then we've got, this one is seeing, both internal and external. And then we've got the crown one, which is realization. This can be like doing with spirituality. So that is the chakras. We'll go ahead and begin our practice today. So we are actually going to begin laying down. So with our knees bent, we'll lay back, and we can put our hands on our belly and our chest, and we'll just start breathing. And inhaling and noticing how our chest rises into the hand. And then our diaphragm goes down and our belly goes up. And as we exhale, we can push down on that belly. The diaphragm is shrinking, our chest goes down, getting rid of all of that air. Just inhaling and exhaling. Just noticing how good it feels to breathe, appreciating that. And if we want to add some breath retention in here, we can take a nice deep inhale, counting from anywhere from 2 to 6 seconds, whatever feels good to your own practice. And then holding the breath that amount of time. And exhaling. times, just breathing. Just keep breathing, laying there. Just breathing. And while we're breathing, let's take a second to set an intention for our practice today. Perhaps a positive thought or just something we would like to personally gain from our practice today. And taking a moment to get rid of expectation, to get rid of judgment, and to get rid of competition. This is our own practice. It's just us and our mat. If we have a block, you can put it between our thighs, and we'll just squeeze that block with our thighs. If we don't have a block, we can just squeeze our thighs together, engaging our root lock. Remember, our first chakra was our root, and they call this Mula Bandha. And so with men, to know what the feeling is, it's when you get cold and everything sucks up into you. And with women, it's the same, like just squeezing. So during our practice, let's squeeze a corset around ourselves and a Mula Bandha under for our root. Like everything's coming up, everything's tight. And we'll do this during our practice. So let's go ahead and think about that first chakra, that root, and squeeze our thighs together. Engage our core. Just breathing. And then we can take that block out. Let's go ahead and just point our toes towards the front of the bottom of the room and lift our arms above. And just reach, stretching long from one side to the other. And then we're going to bring our knees back up. And we're going to do gentle spinal twists. So what we're going to do is drop our knees to the right side, turning our head to the left, twisting from the base of our spine all the way to our neck. And we're just going to inhale our legs up and our head up, and exhale, dropping them to the other side. Inhaling up, exhaling, dropping, as if our knees are windshield wipers. Just gently spinal twisting from one side to the other. That breath. One more on each side. And now we're going to begin a cloud walk. So for a cloud walk, let's go ahead and lift our feet, dropping our foot, just walking, noticing how this engages our core, just cloud walking. Breathing while we're doing this. And then dropping our legs, rolling to our side and helping ourselves up into a nice seated position. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do some shoulder rolls and neck rolls. So starting with our shoulders, let's inhale, rolling them up, and exhale as we roll them back. Okay, right now our chest is open. Let's take a nice inhale. exhaling, rolling them forward, and inhaling, rolling them back. Let's switch. Opening our chest, inhaling, exhaling down. Now we're going to do neck rolls. So remembering our throat chakra, communication, just thinking about that. Well, we either do one of two things. We can do neck rolls, or if that's not comfortable, we can do neck side to side, neck down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale side, inhale up, exhale side. Or we can roll. Inhaling as we roll it, exhaling as our chin comes to our chest. Thinking about the throat, the nerve bundles. Switching directions, inhaling up, exhaling down. Thinking about how we communicate verbally, non-verbally, during this time where we may be missing friends and family. Maybe thinking about giving someone a call or a video chat. All right. Now let's go ahead and we're going to do some grounding of our first chakra by doing Bandha. Nice, straight body, just bending it down and stacking our shoulders and our wrists so it's a straight line. We can have giant starfish hands pushing into our fingers, engaging so all the weight is distributed. If this is uncomfortable, feel free to use fist for wrist. So for cat-cow, we're going to take a nice deep inhale, looking between our hands, inhaling up, exhaling and pushing into our hands and knees, rounding our back like a cat, and then inhaling, lifting our head and our hips towards the ceiling, noticing the opposite movement of the cat. This is cow, inhaling. And then exhaling to cat. Always inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. This is a really good thing to do every day because as we get older, our blood stops flowing to the little soft discs in our spine. And so just movement of our spine every day can help keep those young so that we don't have back pain later in life. Just doing cat-cow Always inhaling to cow. Always exhaling to cat. Thinking about our second chakra, the orange, the pleasure. Being thankful that we have food, that we enjoy eating. And now we're going to come back into child's pose. We have the choice of coming back into child's pose regular, or if you want a little more room for your organs and everything, we can open our knees to the edges of our mat and sink down into child's pose, reaching our hands in front of us if we wish, or some people like to put their hands around themselves. It's secure. Some people like to put their hands on their back, opening their chest for breathing. It's really your choice and your practice. Find the one that feels right to you. Just enjoying child's pose for a moment, knowing at any time during our practice, if you need to just take a breather to come back into child's pose. So just taking a moment, appreciating this and breathing. We're going to add a little bit of movement here, and so if you're in wide-legged child's, let's go ahead and bring our knees back to center because we're going to come to kneeling plank. So coming down, reaching our hands in front of us, and then inhaling, shoulders over our hands, exhaling as we lower into crocodile push-up, keeping those elbows close to our body, coming down. And then we're going to push back into child's pose. Exhaling. Inhaling up into kneeling plank. Exhaling down. Inhaling. Exhaling to child's. Just doing this moving meditation with our own breath and our own pace. Just warming our body. Meeting in child's pose. Just breathing in child's for a moment. We're going to think about our third chakra now, the yellow, right where our ribs meet. There's a nerve bundle there. And we're going to go ahead and come up. And we're going to think about that. We're going to come back to our hands and knees like we did with cat-cow. Wide fingers, hips stacked over knees, shoulders stacked over wrist. Always remembering to have a little micro bend, not blocking anything. So we're going to go ahead and do sunbird. So as you remember with cat-cow, how we had our back. Exhaling into cat, inhaling into cow. This is how sunbird is. So what we're going to do is we're going to first lift our left leg, keeping it no higher than our hips. We can flex that foot, and then taking our opposite arm, our right arm, lifting it, keeping the elbow in line with the shoulder, not coming higher. And then we're going to take an inhale, exhaling our knee and elbow towards the center of our body with that cat back. Inhaling with the cow back, lifting the hips, lifting the head. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. So we did 3 on one side. Let's inhale back up, coming back to our neutral spine. We're going to do 3 on the other side. And then, just to work both sides of our brain, we'll switch between one and the other. So first, let's do 3 on the other side. So lifting our right leg and our left hand, inhaling and exhaling. Meeting back in our neutral spine. Now we'll go ahead, let's do 3 more on each side, switching sides. So we'll start with our right arm and left leg. Inhale, exhale. Rounding that back, inhaling up, switching sides. Inhaling up, exhale, rounding the back. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Now we've got 2 more on each side. We'll do these at our own breath. Sinking back into child. Just taking a moment in child, just breathing, placing our hands in front of us, at our sides, at our back, however we feel comfortable. And then we're going to come up, bringing our hands in front of us if they aren't already. And then coming up, we're going to do our first down dog of the day. So curling our toes under, shifting and lifting our hips towards the ceiling. We're on our tippy toes. Our weight is balanced between our toes and our hands. And we're lifting our hips towards the sky. A little micro bend in our knees. We're not locking our knees. And just breathing in down dog. Feeling the blood come to our head. Our head's so happy to have a little extra blood. So let's go ahead and walk out our feet. Dropping those heels toward the mat. Just feeling that stretch in our calves. Our hips can go from side to side. Just walking out our feet. And then let's go ahead and take a nice inhale. And exhale as we slowly walk forward to forward fold. Our thighs pushing the air out of our belly. And in forward fold here, feeling free to grab opposite elbows. We can rock back and forth. Here we can nod our head yes, nod our head no. We can open our mouth real big for our stretching our jaws. We can nod our head yes one more time, ending on the positive. Inhaling into half rise or monkey. Nice straight back. Exhaling down and inhaling into mountain. Reaching our hands behind us, looking at the sky or the ceiling. I'm going to turn because I want to talk about mountain here. We can exhale our arms down. So for mountain here, to engage our body wholly, remembering our core and our mula bandha, we also want to think about our foundation again, our root. And so for our feet, as if they have 4 corners. And we're really just grounding into the mat, feeling the strength of our feet, flexing those leg muscles. Notice the difference when I'm just regular standing or when I engage those feet and then do our core, our mula bandha, just all of that is locked and tight while we're doing our practice. But we also do want to always keep that micro bend in our knees. We don't want to lock our knees. So here we are in mountain, noticing the power that we feel in our legs and our core. And then let's roll those shoulders back, lifting our head as if there's a string, pulling it towards the ceiling. And then let's reach those hands towards the ground, noticing the dynamic tension in our body. Just taking a moment to breathe and notice the feeling that we feel in our body when we're in mountain pose. Now, we've got our nice foundation. Let's go ahead and do some chair flow. So we're going to inhale those arms up. Exhale, sinking back into chair. We've got a little invisible chair under us. Feeling the strength of our thighs as we sit. We're going to flow. So we're going to inhale. Exhale, sinking back into chair. Keeping that weight distributed in our feet, our foundation. Inhaling up, exhaling to chair. Inhaling up, exhaling to chair. Just continuing this at our own breath, feeling the strength in our foundation, keeping that core engaged, keeping that mula bandha, just noticing the power of our own body. Pausing here in chair and breathing and coming back up, exhaling. Okay, now we're going to talk about our fourth chakra. Remembering our fourth chakra is our heart. We think about love and relationships when we think about our heart. So let's think about that while we're doing it. How can we be there for ourselves, first of all, which right now we are doing self-care, so that's good. How can we be there for others? So we're going to do moonflowers and then sunflowers, thinking about that fourth heart chakra. So we're going to point our toes towards the corner of the mat, and we want it to be so that our knees and ankles can bend. They're on top of one another. So just situate our body so it can be like that. We're going to start with moonflowers. So we're going to inhale, reaching towards the sky, and exhale, coming down, bending our arms at our sides like a little cactus, inhaling up, exhaling down. This is called moonflowers, but they also call it goddess pose. Probably it looks like one of those old-timey paintings of that lady with all the arms. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's go ahead and just do this at our own pace, keeping that core engaged, keeping that mula bandha, the root lock. Still focusing on other energy centers, but for now, we're mostly focusing on our heart. Last one. Holding it for a second as we prepare to come into sunflower. Inhaling up. And for sunflower, we add a swan dive type because it's a little bit more extensive. But in order to do it safely, we always have to remember to keep this lower back. It bends so easy. So when we do our swan dive, we want to push our hips back and lead with our heart so that this doesn't bend too much. So I'm just going to do one sideways and then we'll start. I'm going to bend, coming up, bend, coming So let's go ahead and do some sunflowers. I love the visual I get when I do sunflowers. So we're going to inhale those thumbs together. And we're going to exhale, remembering to push those hips back, leading with our heart, which is the chakra we're looking at right now, and bringing our pinkies together. It's like we drew a giant sunflower. Doing our sunflowers. Exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. I picture this field of giant sunflowers, and like as if I'm a little butterfly flying around. And we can continue doing sunflowers, or if we prefer moonflowers, we can do that. Or we can work our brains a little bit. Which one are we going to do next? Moonflower, sinking down, inhaling up, hands together, pushing back with the hips, leading with the heart. Sunflower, inhaling up, moonflower. So we can do that if we want to. Rotating between the two, we can just do one. It's our practice, it's our choice. Now we're going to go ahead and do just a real quick sun salutation. So, it's going to be modified. If you have another way you like to do it, feel free to do it however you like, but we're going to inhale in mountain, exhaling to forward fold, inhaling half rise, exhaling down, stepping back with our left and then our right, placing our knees down for plank, inhaling, shifting our weight over our wrist, exhaling, keeping those elbows close to our body, and inhaling, lifting with our back, not our hands, in cobra, and exhaling, flipping first our left, then our right toe, bringing ourselves into down dog, taking a couple breaths here, taking a nice inhale, exhaling as we walk forward. We're going to do one more, so inhaling to mountain, exhale forward fold, inhale half rise, exhale forward, stepping back first with the right, then the left, dropping those knees, shifting forward on an inhale, exhaling down, crocodile push-up, inhaling up, cobra, exhaling, and breathing in down dog. Taking a nice breath in and exhaling as we slowly walk to forward fold, inhaling into mountain. Okay, so now we're going to do a mountain crescent lunge flow, and I want you to know that you have options. So we're in mountain, to step back into crescent lunge, we step back with our left foot, inhaling our arms up, reaching behind, or if we want, we can place our knee down and reach, and then come back up. So it's yogi's choice here. Inhaling up, back with the right, inhaling up, exhaling, back to the mountain, inhaling up, back with the left, inhaling up, back to mountain. So let's do 2 more times on each side. feeling the warmth in our body. We're going to go ahead and start with our warrior one. So we're going to step back with our left. So we've got our feet both in, we're in mountain, feet facing forward. We're going to step back with our left into warrior one. And so for warrior one, our ankles are in line with each other. Our hips are facing forward. Our knee is bent over our ankle. Our back foot is not facing straight, nor is it facing sideways. It's facing diagonal towards the front. So we're here in warrior one. We can deepen it if we feel we would like to deepen it a little bit, but not using this knee as a foundation. We're using our feet, remembering those roots, and we're facing the front of the room, shoulders back, nice tall back. Our arms can be how we want. Oftentimes the warrior either places them at heart center or reaches them towards the sky. Just breathing here in warrior. And then we're going to come into an airplane. So our weight will come to our front foot, but if we need to keep that back foot on the mat, we can. So first we're going to start with our airplane arms. Our wrist, our palms will be towards the sky when we come forward, but if we would like to open our chest, we can just for today have them towards the ground. So we're going to come up, keeping a micro bend in that top knee and coming down into an airplane. If we want to lift that back foot, we can, or we can leave it down. Just taking a couple breaths here, feeling the strength in that front leg. And bringing our foot back into mountain. Let's do that on the other side. So, feeling free to switch directions on our mat, work on the sides of our brain. We can take this time our right foot, stepping back into warrior one, remembering that foot towards the front of the room, heels aligned. The weight is in both feet, not our knee. Feeling free to deepen it if we want. Hips forward, remembering our core is engaged, and our hands can be at our heart, or if we want to lift them towards the sky, we can. Just feeling the strength of our legs here in warrior one. Breathing, feeling the strength of the warrior. Whatever we may be facing, knowing we can handle it. Breathing, keeping that core engaged. We can go ahead and come into our airplane arms. If we want to open those palms towards the ground, to open our chest so we can fill it with air. Being so appreciative that we can breathe. And then coming into our airplane, keeping that nice straight back. Or lifting our leg. Feeling the strength in that front leg. And then coming back to warrior. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to do warrior two and reverse warrior, which that's going to be working our fifth chakra. And the reason for that is the throw, remember? And so let's go ahead and get in warrior two. So for warrior two, I like to start with warrior one, stepping back like we were. Reaching those arms towards the sky. And then the only difference is we turn our hips and that back foot and we drop our arms. And we try and keep them nice and straight so they're not wonky this way or wonky this way. Just looking out over our hand, noticing how we feel different than we did in warrior one. Just breathing here. Let's go ahead and turn that palm to face the ceiling, preparing to think about our throat chakra, our communication. Inhale, exhale, reaching towards the ceiling. We don't want to bend our back too much, so we use our hips to pivot. And looking towards the ceiling, our throat is open. However, if this hurts your neck, feel free to just have a neutral face. Breathing here. Inhale, exhale, shifting forward, reaching that back hand towards the ceiling, opening our hands, pushing our hips forward, opening our shoulders. Thinking about that voice, our inner and our external voice. Coming back up and back to mountain at the top of our mat. Taking a moment to check in mountain. Remembering how we have those strong legs, the core, the mula bandha. Just taking a moment, feeling that mountain. And this time we're going to step back into Warrior One with our right foot. Inhaling and exhaling as we open to Warrior Two. Looking out over our hand. Breathing. Maybe thinking of a moving meditation. Turning that palm to face the ceiling. We're going to inhale, scooping the air, exhaling, reaching towards the ceiling and reaching towards the ground. Looking up if we want. Inhaling and exhaling, coming forward, opening those shoulders, pushing the hips forward, and breathing. Coming back into mountain. Taking a moment, checking in with mountain pose. I think we're going to go ahead and do our balance pose. So today for balance, let's just do good old tree. I love tree. And there are so many options with it. And trees give us oxygen. So that's a plus. So let's go ahead. Remembering our root chakra, our foundation is our feet today. Let's ground our right foot as if it has little roots coming out into the ground. 4 corners for balance. And for our tree, we all have different trunks. There's this trunk, there's this trunk, and they're all beneficial in different ways. There's never this trunk because we don't want to hurt our knee. But there's this trunk. And sometimes runners, they like to open their hips. And so if you're a runner and you would like to do that, you can cross it in front and sink down. Rather than being a tree, you can sink down, opening your hip. So it's whatever kind of trunk we want to have. Today, I think my trunk is right here. So get your trunk ready. We've got our foot, our balance, and just breathe. Finding a focal point to help us keep our balance. And we can raise branches. Reaching, we maybe have some big branches. Maybe the wind is blowing to give us a little challenge. Or worse yet, maybe we close our eyes to give ourselves another challenge. Because of the focal point really helps with our balance. Let's just breathe here. Let's take 3 more nice deep inhales and exhales. Coming out as we came in, rolling out our ankle. We're going to do the other side, so let's go ahead and 4 corners, roots. And we'll make our trunk however we did the other side. Finding our focal point, bringing our branches up and breathing. The nice thing about balance pose, it's this section of our practice where we slow down. We know we're going to be coming to our mat after this. We take a moment to slow our body down after movement, slow our blood down, slow our breathing down. So let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths. And come out of it as we came in, rolling out our ankle. Okay, now we're going to do a forward fold before we come to our mat, but we have options. So we're going to inhale and exhale, reaching our hands toward the mat, remembering the micro bend in our knees. And if we have the ability, we can do gorilla here. Everybody's body's different, so some people can reach under and some people just reach towards the mat. It's just the way your body is built. It doesn't mean that one person is better than another. So for gorilla, we grab the underside of our foot and we can just stand on that foot. We can rock our body, kind of massaging our hands, noticing the way this feels in our hands and in our wrists. We've probably been on our computers even more because people don't stop and visit us, which I miss. So just here we are in gorilla. And then let's drop those hands in front and come down to our mats for locust. For locust, we're going to lay on our mats with our forehead on our mats, remembering our hands, if we want to open them up so they're facing the mat, opening our chest. Now that we're going to be on the mat, I'm just going to lower this a little bit so you can see locust. Okay, for locust, we're going to fly. But we're not going to eat all the crops. So let's go ahead and turn those palms to the ground, opening our chest. 1, and for locust, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. And we can do just the hands, or just the feet, or just the head. So 1, 2, 3, fly on an inhale. Let's take 3 breaths, keeping our feet together to keep our back safe. Coming down on an exhale, turning our head to the left, resting our right cheek on the mat, knowing that we're going to do the other side, feeling how this feels in our neck and our lower back. And we're going to fly. 1, 2, 3, fly. On an inhale, taking 3 breaths. Exhaling, turning the face to the right, resting our left cheek. One more time, we're going to fly 5 breaths this time. Inhale, 5 breaths. Smile if you want. And resting our head, we're going to push back into child's pose, thinking about our 6th chakra. Remembering that's indigo. And it's between our eyes. Sometimes if this is out of balance, we can get headaches. So we want to try to keep it in balance. Let's think about it right now. Our internal and our external vision. Ideas. And rest that chakra on our mat. If we want to put our hands under, we can do that. If we want to put a block under, we can do that. Just taking a moment and breathing, knowing we're coming to the end of our practice. And after this, we will come into final relaxation or savasana. So for that, we're going to lay down on our mat comfortably. so our feet can fall open, our hands can be at our sides comfortably. And what I want us to do, also thinking about that same sixth chakra, let's take care of our eyes by rubbing our hands together, getting some friction, getting warm hands, and then closing our eyes, placing the palms of our warm hands on them. We've been staring at a lot of screens, maybe looking one way then the other, maybe up and down, rolling circles, just feeling a little massage on our eyes. And then removing our hands, coming into a comfortable position with our eyes closed, our body melting onto our mat. I'm going to walk you through a guided meditation while you lay, because we're thinking about our seventh chakra here. So let's just start by thinking about our practice today and our chakras, our nerve bundles, if you want to be more scientific. And we'll just breathe and lay on our mat, noticing our foundation, our root chakra. What is our foundation now? It's our whole body, from the bottom of our heels on the mat, our calves are touching the mat, our thighs, all the way up our back, our shoulders are touching the mat, and then our head, all of it melting into the mat. So that's our root. We did some moves with our, so the root was the red. We've done some moves with the orange. Did some poses with the yellow, coming up to our green, which is our heart. Thinking about our intentions that we set in our practice today. Coming up to our blue throat, thinking about how we communicate. And coming up to our indigo, our sight. About how we see things, how different people have different perspectives, and we can respect those and still be friendly with them. And then coming up to the crown of our head, our thought, maybe our spirituality, if we have a religion that we follow, our relationship with the deity that we may have. Different people have different religions as well. And it can be very meaningful, maybe especially during this time. Just breathing in our shavasana here, taking a moment of silence. A little movement back to our bodies and awareness. We can start wiggling our toes, wiggling our fingers. Maybe we can take a time right now to stretch one more time. A big stretch, reaching our feet towards the bottom and lifting our hands above our head, engaging every muscle, stretching. And then coming back, rolling on our side, using our elbow as a pillow. And then using that other hand to help ourselves back into a seated position. And taking a moment to listen to these words from Benjamin Spock. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I wish I could see you, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other soon. So let's take an inhale, bringing our hands to heart center. Noticing if we ever start to feel out of balance, that we can come and do these poses, or even just think about, what am I feeling that's out of center? And maybe how could I fix that? Thank you so much. Namaste.